Hello, you beautiful nerds. Welcome to the Drunk Banthas podcast, where we talk about sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and all of the popular art that we love. Also, we do it drunk. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host and brother Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Man, I am doing especially great today because we have a special guest to help us talk about the fourth and final season of Atlanta. He's the host and creator of the Readus 101 YouTube channel that offers you analysis on and perspective on your favorite bits of geek and popular culture media. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a damn delight to welcome to the podcast Laurent Readus. How are you, Laurent?
I am doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, thank you for coming on the show. Like, big fan of all of your analysis and your insights. And specifically, you know, obviously, like, you made a really great video about the Goofy movie and like how there's relations to like how basically 90s black kids made such a connection to that. And there's obviously a big episode about that in this season.
Yep, Donald Glover stole it from you.
Man, listen, first of all, I am so behind on Atlanta, and I've been meaning to catch up for like even back in season 3, and then by the time I just got to work on everything, I got one notification of a comment on it that's saying, like, just to give you a heads up, the Goofy movie was featured on season 4 of Atlanta, so expect some mild traction on your video, my dude. And I was like, what?
Yeah, like, did that surprise you that someone would make a video make an episode like that?
A bit, yeah. I've like I said, I have 1.5 seasons of Atlanta under my belt, so I'm aware of like the type of mockumentary episodes that Donald Glover did on the show, especially since they, like I said before, because of the fact that I only have like the first season as the full exposure. I know this because of the whole the public television Paperboy interview, which was hilarious in my opinion. So I knew that he had the capability, but yeah, I wasn't expecting like a full-fledged like ESPN type behind the music type deal, VH1 type thing, regarding this very well done mockumentary about the creation of a Goofy movie. It was great.
I've seen some documentaries that wasn't nowhere near as good as this mockumentary.
Exactly. And most of the ones that I've seen that weren't as good but should have been as good are on Netflix, and they were known for that shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's there. I've found myself several times like getting caught up and being like, "Wow, I didn't know that." I was like, "Wait, no, that's because that didn't happen." Exactly. It's so well done. But yeah, it's like it's strange how it just like makes that perforated connection just throughout. Even like, you know, it was like I already felt like there was like when I watched your video and I watched other analysis videos on YouTube. There's other black kids that feel this way too. Like, I'm not, you know, it's not alone. But now it just like even perforates to an even larger level with this show.
Yeah.
Now, were there any other episodes of so you watched that episode of season 4? Obviously,
I had to. It was like off principle. It was like I just kept getting comments like, "Atlanta brought me here. Atlanta brought me here. Did you see that episode of Atlanta? You should watch this episode of Atlanta. I want to hear your analysis on it. Now I've seen this." It's like, well, I guess I have to watch it.
Yeah, because you had to have probably like one of 2 videos in relation to that.
Yeah.
When that episode came on.
Yeah, it was like getting a chance to sit down and watch it and seeing how even if it was just like a small summary, there was a lot of the points that I mentioned in my video were given like a quick 1 to 2 sentence structure regarding how it relates to black culture back in the 90s, like even just on like a sociological level. And it's just like, these are And these are pretty much kind of the same points that I hit on my video, even though they're just like 1 or 2 sentences long, whereas I did like entire segments dedicated to them. So it's just like, wow, okay, cool. But it was like, because for a minute, there's whereas I try to stay as humble as possible whenever anybody mentions my work or I see it out there in the world in any form of fashion reference. I couldn't help but have like a small drop of narcissism hit my veins, because the way that people were commenting on the video made it sound like, no, they actually downloaded your video, took a small snippet and featured it at like the end, and that's how we know. But apparently you can watch it on YouTube, and it was like, because it's so close and everything, it was immediately recommended to people, and that's how they found it. But it's just like, even that, it was like the research was good, and it was like, I created that video. So first of all, the video, I've been trying to release this video for like 2 years.
Oh, really?
I was in the process
of... And the video came out like 2 years ago, right?
The video actually came out February of this year.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it's like I've been trying to make it for 2 years, and I finally made it and released it February for Black History Month. And so I was wondering, it's like, but my video is only like 8 or however months old it is. There's no way that they actually could possibly use this as a reference, could it? But because like, as much as I want to get into like the writing and the acting aspect of the entertainment industry, I don't necessarily know the turnaround when it comes to like script writing and whatnot. Like, I don't know how fast it takes to like write a script meant for television. So it's just like, it felt like this had to have been pre-planned at least a year ago. Like, but at the same time,
I think you're absolutely right.
But that's not stopping people from being like, yo, they saw your video. They saw your video.
I'm starting the rumor. I think I probably started the rumor that, you know, because I'm messy, so I want to perpetuate those things. I want those kind of rumors out there, like YouTuber was robbed by Donald Glover. But I think the reason that people are going to automatically assume that you were robbed is because the truth of the matter is, in our community, that Goofy is black. Like, it is a thing that is not popularized, but is just well known in our communities. Like, Goofy's black.
Yeah. And that, surprisingly enough, that one bit about the Goof that in the mockumentary that perpetuated the black CEO character of regarding seeing Goofy and other Goofs as black is actually pretty true. It didn't make my video, but it made the video of a fellow YouTuber that I've collabed with recently, Edek. He did a video regarding like, what is Goofy. Edek is a white British YouTuber. He's very cool as far as like different aspects of like pop culture and like 90s cartoons and whatnot. We recently did a collab where I helped him on a video of his talking about catchphrases, and he helped me do a trilogy analysis of like the Naked Gun series. So he's pretty chill. But he did a video. He did a video on what is Goof. Is he a dog? Is he a human? Is he a hybrid? Right. And there are actual like racist undertones regarding associating what Goofy is to like the racist white American ideal of like an African American at the time. So that aspect is actually true.
Right. He's like Step and Fetch It.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's just
other actors at that time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, while that aspect didn't necessarily make my video, because I didn't necessarily like, because I didn't necessarily realize at the moment, because ideally I was focusing on the positives and what we can take away from our community as far as like what the Goofy movie, and to a certain extent Goof Troop, because it's technically a sequel to Goof Troop, or follow up at least, what we can acknowledge of ourselves in like the mannerisms of Max, and the difference between things with his father, how Pete, the differences between Goofy's dadhood, parenting skills, and like Pete's parenting and everything like that. Yeah. And it's just like, just seeing like the intersectionality between like generations and everything like that. It was like, though that was my main focus, but that aspect was completely right, and I have no doubt that aspect also plays a huge part as far as individuals idealizing or identifying Goofy and his family as black. It just so happens to come from a very like ignorant mindset. But it's one of those things that we've like adapted for us.
Right. Yeah, and like sort of like, yeah, and it's interesting that with your video coming out at the same time as like this video, I mean, as this episode, I think it's just like one of those collective consciousness things where just like culture comes together at the right time. Like, you know, when like Shaft and Sweetback came out like within like 9 months of each other, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like one of those things where like culturally it's like things just hit, and everybody just like is in the right place where they can acknowledge that and really digest it really well. But yeah, I thought that was a really, really great episode. Really good way that came together. So you
came together like butt cheeks.
Came together like butt cheeks. So you've been a fan of like the show though for like a while. Like, what made you like interested in Atlanta in general? Like, have you always been a fan of the show?
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to know what Donald was capable of himself without like the help of Tina Fey or the cast of Community for the longest time. And whereas I definitely expected weird black kid energy from Donald from Atlanta with it, because it's just like I realized that's at the time, like that was early, what I acknowledged as his brand early on, and I wanted to know how he would translate that with like something like with Atlanta, and I wasn't disappointed, but at the same time, it was also very real as far as like somebody struggling under capitalism while at the same time trying to do what he enjoyed doing, and I was like, oh, look at that! It's a mirror, and there's me.
Yeah.
So you're fine. It was basically just like seeing how he juggles everything, how people in his life juggled everything. Man, the episode regarding Lakeith's character and getting that dog sold was real. Was like, it
oh
just,
my gosh, yeah.
I know it pays off in a future season, but just watching that episode is like, no, you just made it. You just gotta wait a couple of months. But I'm broke now, motherfucker. Like, I felt that.
Stefan, I'm curious, or Bill, I'm curious what you thought of like the goof that sat by the door episode in general, because like I know that like we've been hearing Ron's take. What's your take on this episode?
The goof that sat by the door is my funniest episode of this season for me. It's number one. I mean, it was ridiculous. I was sitting here the whole time watching it. I watched it on Hulu, and the whole time I was thinking, these niggas, they should have never gave these niggas money. Like, this is all I could think the whole time. They should have never gave these niggas money. They was like, look, last season, we finna do something stupid. Like, and like so much money, so much production, so much like world building took place for this episode to just be. And I was just like, damn, it feels longer than it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was just well put together. Like we said earlier, the mockumentary was better than some documentaries that we've seen. Like, and I just look back at it now because it's actually on the TV right this second. I'm looking back at it now and like noticing how the casting for this kid, the kid that they had that was T, the producer, he looks just like the dude that they got as the adult. You know what I'm saying? And then I keep noticing the adult had this lazy eye. They kept doing this lazy eye thing, so like making him like as weird and as like dorky as possible as far as like what he would have been in the black community, because they just hype up like how he was treated white. You know, we all in the black community know what that means. You know what I'm saying? It means us. It means.
Yeah, it's great. Like, one of the things that I think that the show does really, really well is like show, you know, like how, you know, the black experience is not a monolith, and you know there are certain things that's like, you know, every single one of the main characters from like Ern to Lakeith's character, like they're all very different. Yeah. They're not just like all kind. They all have different voices and different wants. And yeah, you really just. Yeah, they exemplify that even in this anthological episode where we're introduced to this actor who's very clearly cast to look. They found the guy who looks the most like Goofy. Like they put that on the cast list, I think. But yeah, did you have like a favorite moment of this episode, LeRon, that you like really stood out to you?
Yeah, I would have to say my favorite moment. It's so I feel bad that it is my favorite moment.
Oh god.
But it's the moment when they reveal that old dude died, and it's mostly because the fucking police footage or the. It was just the giant ass Goofy shoes and
the glove. The glove got me too.
That was great because they played it so serious.
Yeah, they did.
I was tripping on the glove, why does he have all this stuff? But of course he has all this stuff. That's what I said to myself exactly at the same time. Like, why does he have it? Of course he has it. This is where this has been going the entire time. Of course this nigga's dead. Why is he dead? They don't even really, and it's a mystery. Of course it's a mystery. Nobody knows how he died. Did he kill himself? Did he die in a terrible accident? No one knows. Is he still alive?
He could be. He could have just faked his death and just watch him from the sidelines.
Yeah, like that's one of the great things they do is like going back and forth between the realism and the being able to have these commentaries on actual black culture and like how animators get treated, how black animators especially get treated.
And a lot of that hit home as far as like the stuff that his character went through over the course of trying to get this movie made. It's just like the shift in his parenting dynamic, and just his relationship with his wife, and everything like that. I was like, yes, I know this isn't the real dude, but everything that they are doing as far as showing like what he is going through, that's also real for somebody out there, and it's real, and it's especially real for somebody who has made it as a black individual in this world made for white folk, and just trying to like not just like put a foot through the door, just like put their big toe in. And it's just like and just trying to like do something that they would feel is important, not just for themselves but for their families and for their community, and all these hurdles that they have to go through, and just trying to do that could drive somebody crazy. especially when you have to deal with working through your own morals and beliefs, and just like trying to not step on so many toes, because they're the same toes that will have that put you in the position that you're currently in, but at the same time you don't want them to like change what you're trying to deliver. Like the whole another favorite part about is that when they revealed that the Bigfoot scene was actually a replacement for them getting pulled over.
Right.
And it was just like, holy shit, that's brilliant. That's fucking brilliant. But at the same time, I actually see Disney doing some shit like this
Right.
Definitely.
For an all black movie, just to say that we don't want to make people too uncomfortable.
Right.
I can totally see them doing that shit.
They do it for non-black movies, so they definitely gonna do it for some black movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's like crazy stories if you look up like how Brave got made, like that that started out a completely different way. But yeah, like it's really interesting how they end up. It's a it seems like impossible high wire act, but they do it week by week, and they're incredible at it. But before we get you out of here, Laurent, like we really appreciate you coming by and talking Atlanta. Is there any like other highlights from the episode that you want to like talk about, or like anything that you want to plug in the future that you got coming up?
Oh well, right now I have a couple of things in the woodwork. I'm working on a long-term video, where I'm looking at like I'm looking at the comparison between oligarchy regarding like multi-billionaires and shit like that, and how they actually affect like working class and people just trying to live and shit like that, and how surprisingly enough we actually get like a peep at how that affects in a fantasy setting through the lens of like the Ghostbusters franchise. I'm actually working on that.
Okay.
Yeah, wow. Just both the movies, the video games, and the comic books. A lot of things that it's the franchise that started me kind of down my social commentary and analysis pathway, and I really want to do good at it because it's one of my my favorite franchises because of it. So I'm working on that, a long-term video for that, a couple more passion projects as well. Also going to be working on like a God of War analysis video as soon as I find a way to. Now that the PS5s are more readily available, so I can actually record some footage and get one.
Right.
But yeah, just in general, just talking about Kratos and his evolution of masculinity and everything as it go into the newer games. Just a bunch of shit.
All sounds really awesome. I'm actually really excited about all those ideas.
That's good. My YouTube channel, you can find me at youtube.com/Readus101. That's READUS, the number 1, the number 0, the number 1. You can find me on Twitter as long as it wants to stay up, at Readus_101, because somebody took Readus 101 and hasn't done anything with it. I have and a plague upon their houses until they do something with it.
Some spiteful, hateful shit.
Listen.
May all the petty shit happen to you.
I am not beyond being petty. It's part of my bread and butter sometimes.
Oh man! Oh well, thanks so much for coming by, Laurent.
Yeah,
thank you. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, man. Of course. Come by any other time if you want to talk about anything else nerdy. Guys, thank you for watching. We try to do this every once in a while, so go ahead and leave a like and subscribe so you can get updates on new videos. Check us on Twitter, IG, TikTok, likewise, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the internet things stuff. At the Drunk Banthas.
It's right here in the bottom.
Next time, stay safe, my little goose, and may the force be with you.